Well, anybody who's got a bit of a sweet tooth for that juicy, delicious carnage candy, prepare to gorge yourself. So Doom Eternal is a first-person shooter telling the story of the Doom Slayer, a lone Marine trying to stop Hell's invasion of Earth. Well, it's back, baby. Carnage has returned. Doom Eternal, the long-awaited, especially for me, who was a huge fan of the last one, long-awaited sequel to the 2016 reboot of Doom. Doom Eternal is by far one of the most adrenaline-fueled, purely insane, frantic first-person shooters that you will ever play in your life. So to give a little bit of backstory for me as a fan of Doom, I was always a big fan of the original Doom. I had it on Sega Genesis. Didn't really play a lot of them until Doom 3 came out, which I have fuzzy memories with, but I remember that one being very strange for a Doom game, much more survival horror than the frantic shooter. And then the 2016 Doom brought me back into my Doom fandom because that took everything that I remembered about the original Doom and injected it in the heart with about 10 pounds of a speedball and just unleashed hell on PS4. And I loved it. Doom Eternal tries to recapture pretty much everything, as well as a few new elements that Doom 2016 reboot brought. So before I get into this game, guys, I just want to let you guys know, please, to like and share this video and help it get spread around on YouTube. And if this is the first time checking out this channel and you enjoyed this video, hit that subscribe button. And if you enjoyed this channel so much that you want to find out how to contribute to it and how to help this channel grow, check the links down below for my Patreon page. That's the best and the easiest way to help this channel grow and to get cool exclusive content for your eyes only, such as review requests, voting on monthly videos, digital Blu-ray copy codes. All of that insanity is at my Patreon page, so check that out down below, guys. Now let's talk about some Doom Eternal. Oh, also, I almost forgot. I feel like it's important to note that I did not play any of the multiplayer in this game. I'm purely a single player guy, not much of a PvP or, you know, a deathmatch type of dude at all, so not gonna be talking about that. That will not factor into this grade at all. PSA over. So starting right off with the positives, like I've mentioned before, this thing is a pure adrenaline rush. From the moment the game starts to the time that the credits roll, this game barely gives you a chance to let up. It just throws you right in the middle of madness, and you just blow your way through it with shotgun shells and plasma rifles and chainsaws until you reach the end of the game. And that's basically the entire experience. Over and over and over again is just carnage candy, carnage candy, carnage fucking candy. And what I like that Doom Eternal does is that it kind of puts a little bit more of a strategy point into your first-person shooter experience. Now again, I have not played the Doom 2016 reboot since 2016, so there might be some things that game did that I'm remembering wrong that maybe this game doesn't do new, but what I like that Eternal does is that it utilizes some of the ways that you kill these different enemies into a strategic point to where you have like your chainsaw that you'll cut enemies open to spill ammo. You'll have your blood punch, which oftentimes after you upgrade it will spill health. You have a flame belch thing, which is kind of like the Predator's little plasma caster that will shoot flames onto enemies, and as long as you keep shooting or if you kill enemies that are on fire, ammo will dump out. There's a lot of different things that you do while you're running around and jumping and, you know, destroying all of these different versions of demons that you kind of have to put some strategy into it, into how you're going to survive each individual encounter. Do you need health? Do you need ammo? Do you need to blood punch the biggest, baddest motherfucker in this thing? Or are you gonna use it to just scatter out 6 or 7 smaller enemies to get them out of your way? Are you gonna run around and use, you know, vertical leaps to your advantage? Or are you gonna stay ground and let everybody else stay up? There's a lot of different things that you have to do to make you think when you do these encounters, and there's plenty of times where you will die over and over and over again and have to keep revisiting your strategy to find that sweet spot. It's a very different game, but it reminded me a lot of that game Bulletstorm, where you had like these different little skill shots where you would kill people in certain ways and you would get certain achievements for it, and you kind of had to be strategic about how you encountered enemies to get the most bang for your buck. Doom kind of takes a similar approach to that game with its mechanics, with how you are able to dispense all these different enemies. And as somebody who is a completionist, as somebody who is a trophy hunter or achievement hunter, whatever you want to call it, I am eternally grateful, no pun intended, for Doom Eternal having very much a focus on completionism, in the sense where there's a lot of secrets hidden in every single stage. The map shows you where these things are, but not necessarily how to get them. The map allows you to keep track of which ones you have gotten and which ones you still need to find. And they even throw in mechanics where you can replay levels, or even better in my opinion, when you get to the end of the game, right before you get into the final boss battle of a stage, or right before you get into like a portal that's gonna take you to the end of the stage, they give you an option for fast travel, where you can literally teleport to different sections of the map and collect all the different secrets that you have not gotten already. And as somebody who loves to complete levels 100% before they move on to the next one, my God, that made it so much more easier. I love the enemy variety too. This is something that Doom has always had in spades pretty much in every single game. I mean, from things all the way down to the little imps that just kind of sit around and shoot fireballs at you, all the way up to things like Mancubus that are shooting out flames at you and are like big gargantuan motherfuckers. You got things like the Marauder, fuck that guy.
Presence threat level 5 entering main laboratory.
There's even enemies that will literally just exist to spawn other enemies. They put their hands in the air, it's like the Archvile or some shit, and flames surround them, and then the enemies just spawn all around the map until you devote all of your attention to sawing that fucking guy in half. A lot of different strategies, a lot of different cuss words. Also got to give credit to the design and the graphics of this game because it looks awesome. I mean, there's a lot of different environments you have. You go to Earth in some sections, you're back in Hell in some sections. There's more like technological, like spacey, you know, cosmic type levels. There's also like some snow levels at some point. So there's a lot of different level design, a lot of different graphics that are going to be thrown at you in this game, and they all look gorgeous. Like, you'll be standing there and you'll be shooting enemies and you'll see things going off in the distance on the horizon with like big ass titans walking around, or just some carnage going on elsewhere in the world that you kind of want to stop and just kind of marvel at for a second, like, oh shit, that's awesome, oh fuck. And finally, kind of going along with the strategy that I was talking about, I love the weapon assortment that you have in this game. There's pretty much something for every type of player, and every type of player is going to have their favorites and, you know, weapons that they don't use unless they absolutely have to. Like, there's two different kinds of shotguns, there's plasma rifles, there's rocket launchers, you got your chainsaw, you got your chain gun, you got the BFG, big fucking gun. And every single one of these weapons has different little upgrades and different little side things that you can have to it. Like, for example, the shotgun has not only like a automatic thing that will turn into like a turret that will sit there and like a chain gun almost, but then you can press a button and it'll swap out the attachment for a grenade launcher. Or like the rocket launcher will have a lock-on feature where like enemies that teleport around, you can lock onto them and little missiles will heat seek around until it hits them, or you have the option to swap out that little attachment and you could shoot it and have the option to detonate that missile yourself. So every weapon has multiple ways to use it. Every gamer is going to have multiple weapon little assortments that they try to use in any situation. And there's also different enemies that will require different, you know, weapon configurations, different strategies, because something that I know for a fact that Doom Eternal does new that's never been in this franchise before is kind of introduces these little weaknesses to certain enemies. Like, for example, the Mancubus that I was talking earlier with these flamethrower arms. You can use like this sniper attachment for your assault rifle and shoot off those flamethrower arms and basically render that guy into a little bitch, and you can run around taking care of everybody else and then come back to him later on, but you get rid of the biggest threat. Or you even have somewhere like, you know, what's the one fucking dude that has the jetpack and he has the missile launchers? You can shoot those missile launchers off. You got this arachnid Terminator looking motherfucker that'll come up and you can shoot off his biggest weapon, which is this laser rifle that sucks ass whenever you're in the middle of a battle. That thing just keeps fucking shooting you. I love the variety in the weapons. I love the strategic side of things when you can take out the weaknesses of the bigger enemies and then just kind of even the playing field a bit. It's a game that has plenty of ways to keep the gameplay fresh and to let you play multiple ways and let all different types of gamers play this game differently to achieve the same goal. Now, moving on to the mixed aspect, this really is not the game's fault at all. I just feel like this is important to say now. Obviously, all around the world, guys, we're all going through a very uncertain, scary time right now with this outbreak. You got multiple countries that are on different levels of lockdown, even within the United States, different states and different varying levels of lockdown. A lot of people are going to be playing video games as a huge pastime during their self-quarantine or stay-at-home orders. And I just have a little PSA for if you choose to spend that time with Doom Eternal. This is a very stressful game. I'm somebody that likes games that have high difficulty, but this game certainly pushes your patience a lot with its difficulty. And there's going to be a lot of times when you're going to die multiple times, like the fucking Marauder, that's going to let your blood pressure rise. It's going to get you stressed out. It's going to get you tense. If you're somebody that is trying not to have any more of that in your life than you can stand right now because of this situation, Doom Eternal might not be the game that you should play at this moment. So know who you are. I feel like that's important to say. It's something that I noticed while playing is I can manage stress very well, but if I'm somebody that has a lot of anxiety and that doesn't manage it very well, this game would make life terrible. And now moving on to the negatives. I feel like there's going to be a lot of things that I say here that I'm going to be on an island with. I am a Doom fan. I'm not somebody that has played every single game. I'm not somebody that has a Doom tattoo on my arm. So I feel like a lot of the Doom purists are not going to like what I don't like about this game, but gotta be honest. So the first thing that I feel like a lot of us are going to agree with, I really do not like the Marauder. I mean, this is not just like a difficult boss slash enemy that is just people bitch about it because it's hard. It's hard, but I just don't like what he does to the gameplay itself. Like the whole game is just, you're constantly moving, you're constantly running around, you're jumping, you're dashing around, you're in serious movement and just agility the entire time you're playing any encounter in this game. Until the Marauder shows up about 2/3 of the way through the game. You have a little boss battle with him that sucks and you finally beat him and you feel like the baddest motherfucker around. And then they start inserting the Marauder into random encounters for the rest of the game as just another enemy that you have to beat in the long slew of enemies that are already coming at you. And this guy, the strategy to beat him is so weird and different and kind of against the grain with how you play Doom that to me, it was borderline miserable every single time that I encountered this guy. And I got to the point where I knew the strategy and how to kill him, and I would maybe only die once from him sometimes, and towards the end of the game I would kill him no problem, but I still did not like, I didn't enjoy whenever he was put into the game, because every other enemy either takes a lot of ammo, or they take a specific type of ammo, or there's weaknesses like I was talking about. There's a strategy for all of them that you can implement and change on the fly while you're running your ass off, trying not to get killed. The Marauder, the only way to beat him is to stand a certain distance away from him. So if you get too close to him, he shotgun blasts your ass. If you get way too far away from him, he swings his axe and a little projectile comes at you. But if you get in that little sweet spot, he'll go to swing his axe at you, his eyes will light up green, and you'll have a split second to react and shoot him and stagger him, and you can get maybe one more shot off. And he also teleports and zips around, and he has a shield that blocks every fucking gun in the game, even the BFG, which kills everything but him. He's got this little ghost orange dog that'll go around who's a complete bitch. I'm stressed out just talking about it, guys. The Marauder just kind of changes up the gameplay in a way that I did not like, because while you're running around, you're darting around, and you're trying to just avoid contact, and it's just crazy insanity, and then all of a sudden you drop this guy into the game. Now all of a sudden you're like, am I too close? Oh shit, oh fuck, oh. Now I will share a hint that I kind of developed towards the end of the game that made him a lot easier. I found that not only is it easier to basically run around and avoid him and get rid of basically everybody else except for him, and you'll still get smaller enemies that will spawn no matter what while he's still alive, because you're gonna need ammo, you're gonna need health, but all the big guys, get rid of the whole playing floor, then focus on the Marauder. That's one. Two is to run your ass off or dash away until you get a good distance away from him, turn around, and as he's running towards you, he will usually automatically just kind of spawn into that green light thing as he gets the perfect distance away from you. Very rarely when he has to run a long distance to get to you, will he stop and then start launching projectiles at you, or will he get all the way up to you and start shotgun blasting you. So if you get a good distance away from him and he has to run towards you, just hold it until you see them green lights, then unleash hell. I also found the platforming aspects of this game to be a little bit weak, even though I enjoy exploring these levels and getting all the secrets and, you know, doing that completionism thing. I don't really think that the game performs that side of the gameplay very well. It's just a lot of jumping to ledges or darting across and, you know, getting across to different ledges that you haven't been able to get to before. I feel like we're in enough of a new gaming age to where Doom could have done something a little bit better with that. It still feels very old school, and it still feels very basic as far as the platforming stuff goes. Now moving on to some of the things that a lot of the Doom purists are gonna get mad at me about. Number one, the biggest thing that bugged me about this game was I feel like there was a huge missed opportunity for story. There was a huge missed opportunity for cutscenes and for having some of the lore and the more interesting aspects to the character himself, Doom Guy, explored through this game, when pretty much all of it is regulated to little codex files that you collect and have to go into a menu and read. I've never been a fan of that. Some people love it. Some people love being able to explore the lore that way and just, enjoy the gameplay for what it is and not having any downtime. I'm one where I like the story to come through cinematically. I like the story and different aspects like that to be put into the game as like a whole experience. I don't really like learning about things beyond how to shoot things in codex files, and everything that I need to know about the game is in codex files and I have to go read. I just don't really like that aspect. A lot of games do it. Some games do it better than others. It's just not for me. I do also feel like the game gets a tad monotonous in the back third or so, and some of that has to do with length, so really this is kind of two things. A little bit of monotonous gameplay with just doing the same things over and over again, as well as the game. I think it's clocked in around 15, 16 hours. I think it would have been better at about 12 hours. Like, I'm not usually one to say the game should be shorter, and some people will get pissed about that. Like, what? You paid $60 for this and you want a short experience? Games are just like movies. Every movie has an appropriate length to where if you push it, it's gonna feel like it drags. If you cut it short, it's gonna feel like it was missing something. Games are the same way. And in the last 3, maybe 4 levels of this game, I was kind of starting to get a little fatigued. Like, man, is this thing not over yet? Because I feel like I'm doing the same shit over and over and over again. Especially when you have a game that's not really inserting a whole lot of story. There's not like a whole mystery to unfold. There's not like some big confrontation that you're waiting for. There's no big reveal that you're waiting to get to in the storyline. It's just the next encounter, the next fight, the next person you have to blow his fucking head off with a shotgun. And after about 14 hours of that, it starts to get a little dry. But overall, guys, I did have a really good time with this game. I don't think it was as good as the 2016 game is for me. Again, my memory's a little foggy, so maybe if I played that one and then immediately played this, I would say differently, but I loved that game for what it brought back to Doom. This game does that and does it very well, and in some aspects does it better, but also felt like it didn't expand Doom a whole lot for me, where 2016 felt like a whole new, fresh, badass, clean experience. This felt like a lot of the same. For some people that's gonna be good. For me, it was small missed opportunities holding back a great gameplay experience. But even with all that being said, a lot of my negatives for this game, guys, minute compared to how well it does certain things. If you're a fan of Doom, if you're a fan of single player games, if you're a fan of just obliterating things on the screen, if that's how you undo the stresses of going to work every day, is coming home and just decimating 3,000 zombies, 3,000 demons, and just ripping heads off and spines out and sawing things in half, I got a game for you, and it's called Doom Eternal. So if you're a fan of Doom, if you love first-person shooters and you want a thrilling, adrenaline-fueled experience, look no further than Doom Eternal. Just don't expect a whole lot beyond that carnage candy-fueled single-player experience. So all you bloodthirsty fools out there, check this thing out. So what did you guys think of Doom Eternal? Do you feel like this was better than 2016? Did you enjoy 2016 more? Do you want to see a sequel to this? What did you love and dislike about Doom Eternal? Let me know down below. And how much do you hate the Marauder? God damn that guy. Let me know down in the comment section below, guys. Please, like I said before, be sure to like and share this video and hit that subscribe button if you are new to this channel. And as always, guys, remember, opinions are like assholes, but that doesn't mean that you have to be.